Well, I'm talking about liquid. Rich enough to have your own jet. Rich enough not to waste time. Well, in my book, you either do it right or you get eliminated.
They're analysts. They don't know preferred stock from livestock, all right? The new law of evolution in corporate America seems to be survival of the unfittest.
Good evening, stock traders, and welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio here on a beautiful Thursday night, April 12th, 2012. I am your host, STT. Joining me on tonight's program, I have Stock Sumo.
Hey, good evening, STT.
How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing it. Just fantabulous. Fantabulous.
Fantabulous. That's my word, but I'll let you borrow it tonight. Also, joining me on the program tonight, I have Sifakia. Sifakia. He will join us later in the program. He had to take another call, unfortunately. All right, tonight we have yet another fantastic CEO interview lined up. Doing tonight's interview will be Stock Sumo. Mr. Stock Sumo, take it away, sir.
Oh, I'm super pumped up for this. We're here with Mr. John Graham, the CEO of Building Turbines, Inc., ticker symbol BLDW, and Mr. Bill O'Rourke, company spokesperson for Echo Wind Solutions, Inc. Both Mr. Graham and Mr. O'Rourke have a diverse history and background in the alternative energy and rooftop wind turbine industry, focused on commercial and residential wind turbines. They focus on innovative solutions to provide the public with clean, renewable energy sources. They handle the mechanical, structural, and aesthetic components of installation for clients. They also hope that their efforts can reduce dependency on foreign fossil fuels and preserve our environment. In this interview, I'd like to cover mainly the impending merger with Echo Wind Solutions and what that entails as far as product distribution, the involvement of Honeywell, and the impact this partnership will have on sales. An overview of the technology itself, the market for rooftop wind turbines in the U.S., and the potential in the Texas market. Also, the company's short and long-term goals and the opportunity for shareholders. Welcome to Stock Traders Talk Radio, Mr. Graham and Mr. O'Rourke.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Why don't we get right to the details of the merger? John, tell us about the merger.
Well, Stock Sumo, thank you very much for having us on the show this evening. Building Turbines and myself are very pleased and excited to announce the merger of our two companies. Our attorneys are just putting the final touches on it right now, but we've agreed on all the main concepts. This alliance is going to have a great mutual benefit for both our companies, and it will enable Building Turbines to have current revenue today as we finalize the certification on our other products that we're working on. And I'll continue to look forward to working with Bill and his entire team for the long term. We've been working together for the past few months, and our teams get together, get along perfectly.
Well, that's great. Sounds like you got a lot of synergies together. In basic detail, describe what your background experience is and a brief history of the company.
Okay, my forte has been in commercial real estate. I've been purchasing office buildings for the past 20 years, and we manage our own real estate, leasing, and property management. And one of the most expensive parts of owning commercial real estate is the electric bill. And the electric bill has disproportionately gone up every year since I've been in business, it seems like. And about 6 years ago, we had a cell tower blow over on one of our buildings, a 5-story building, and caused just tremendous damage. And I was up on the rooftop with insurance adjusters, and the wind was just constantly blowing. And I could look out over the horizon and see all the rooftops and wondered why there weren't wind turbines on them, because you could tell the wind was so much greater on top of the rooftop than on the ground surface. So I started building and designing wind turbines about 6 years ago. We actually built a wind turbine tunnel or a wind tunnel in that building, and I've been designing them since then. We've got 3 patents now.
Oh,
3 patents.
Wow, that's
filed for 3 patents. 1 has been granted, and 2 are pending.
Oh, okay. Well, you just jumped right ahead to one of the questions that I was going to get to. Now, what are the goals for your merged team?
Bill, you want to handle that?
Yeah, well, basically, what we're looking forward to is for the first time since the invention of our product that we are going to be able to offer a residential customer or a building owner the opportunity to have produce their own power. Now, this has never been done before. There's a little bit of that in solar, but this time we're going to utilize the wind. Our product, the Honeywell product, as I can speak directly about, is the type of product that our startup speed is about a half a mile an hour. We start producing energy at about 2 miles an hour. And again, this for the end user is the type of product that they can buy, put it on their building, and see a real savings. Along with that, with John's product being a product similar to ours in terms of producing power for a commercial building, it's just a natural marriage for us. Again, these are just 2 of the products that we have on the table right now. I think the biggest thing that we can talk about in our merger is that this gives us a product that we can sell today. If we had a client and a customer, we can deliver this product. We're not talking about being down the road a year from now or R&D. We have all the incentives from the federal government. We have all the incentives from the state and local governments, and it is really a product of its time. So we're excited to join forces with BT and think we have a perfect marriage.
Oh, that sounds excellent. Now, where did the idea from this technology originate from, Bill?
Sumo, hold on 1 second. Bill, hold on 1 second, please.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks like we lost John.
Yeah, we lost John on the phone call. Let me see if I can get him back on here. Just give me 1 second.
No problem.
John, are you there?
Gentlemen?
Are you back with us now? Okay.
Okay, we got you back here. Yeah, so why don't we just get right back into it? Where did the idea from this technology originate from, Bill?
Well, from the Honeywell Corporation, there's been several companies that have tried to launch what we would call a turbine that would produce electricity and be small enough to be utilized in residential or commercial use. So the patent actually came from a gentleman from India that developed the product. Once the product was developed and it was proven that it was worked, the Honeywell Corporation had the ability to get it through all of the wind tunnel tests, so on and so forth. Again, it's a product of its time. It's just an amazing, when you see it operate and you see the ease that it operates and how easily it spins and moves into the wind. We are of the opinion, and we can talk a little bit about the sales that we already have on the ground, but we are of the opinion that this is not just a product that is available now, but it's a product that everyone is going to have. If you guys talk about the federal government and what is mandatory in this country, and a lot of the things that we're doing is we are eco-friendly. We want to have a product that reduces energy costs to the people. This year, just in our local paper here in Houston, they were talking about rolling blackouts this coming summer that are definitely going to be here. Well, with John's product and our product together, we are going to be able to install these units, and hopefully for the people that are using a lot of power, we can even gear these products to click in at a certain part of the day so that they don't lose their computer backups, their refrigeration, some of their ACs. So there's just a whole myriad of things why the product was developed, and again, it's a product of its time.
John, you briefly touched upon the patents. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yes, we filed for 3 patents. 1 we've been issued, granted. There's the second patent we are in communication with the patent office, and I think we're going to get most of the claims that we've asked for. And the third patent we filed, we have not heard back from the patent office yet. The details of the patent. Do you want to know the details of the patent?
Sure.
The first one is the location of the turbine in relationship to the parapet wall and different augmenters. We've patented a sail-type material that we can engineer it to tear at 59 miles an hour, for example, so a hurricane or a tornado comes through, literally the blades tear off, and the next morning you zip the blades back on and you're right back in business. The blades are very inexpensive. Our turbine is horizontal. It's about 25 foot long, 10 foot tall. It's made up of 12 different blades. So it's very light. Its footprint is approximately 5 pounds per square foot, so it's a non-event structurally. We've got turbines installed in Corpus Christi and in Austin, and all engineered plans.
I'm a huge fan of alternative energy, whether it be wind or solar. Now, is there any competition amongst the solar industry?
Well, there's a couple ways to answer that. Solar is definitely a great alternative product. But the difference between our product and solar is that, as everyone knows, wind is always blowing, almost 24/7. So the solar industry, which is an incredible industry, sort of doesn't compare to ours in a different direction because we are producing power almost 24/7. Where solar, if there's a bad day for sun, if it's overcast, doesn't produce the amount of power that our products produce. Most people are not aware of the fact that solar has to heat up to a certain level before it even begins to produce power. Our product produces the minute it starts to spin. So that being the difference. But let me say this. Between John's product and our product being one and the same, we are going to tie in with solar so that we can hopefully come up with a situation where we can make a lot of the buildings, maybe not totally off-grid, but certainly reduce the power usage maybe by anywhere from 20 to 80%. So a tie-in with solar is a natural situation for our products. Again, we are down the road and have spoken with several of the solar manufacturers and talking about some type of a marriage which we'll enter into with them and use their products along with ours.
Bill, I think you're spot on. I think we complement solar. We don't compete with solar at all. And rebates are exactly the same for solar and for small wind. So there's lots and lots of synergy there.
No, I
that's
agree
great.
with
It sounds like they really go hand in hand together. Now, what makes your turbines any different than conventional wind farms?
Well, our turbine works on a basis of magnetic power with copper, so it's very much like an alternator. The particular Honeywell product, there are really no moving parts. There's nothing that touches another part of the unit so that there's wear and tear. The only part of our product is that there is a ceramic ball bearing in the center, which is a 15 or 20-year ball bearing, so that we don't have any of the friction. We don't have a braking system. And I'd like to say this, is that our particular product, everybody says wind turbine. Ours is really not a wind turbine. Ours is a wind generator. The actual unit itself is generating the power, where unlike other units that spin, they have to go to a generator, which usually has 32 to 40 moving parts. Our whole unit has 8 moving parts, period, and those parts do not touch one another. So that from a standpoint of use and wear and tear, our warranty and our lifespan is probably double or triple of what anything that's been on the market, which allows us to have this low wind speed, and it allows us to generate power. We actually start generating power at about 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, you mentioned that before.
Yeah.
A half a mile to 2 miles per hour, is that right?
Yeah, when we click our box on, that blade starts moving at about a half a mile an hour wind. At 2 miles an hour, because of the power level, it actually starts creating power, so that it's like a trickle effect. Once we hit 2 miles an hour, we're really producing electricity. Once we get up to an average wind speed of 8 to 12 miles an hour, we're almost at maximum production. The units are produced all the way up to 38 miles an hour. And then if the wind speed gets higher than that, we have a braking system that actually brings the magnets a little bit closer to the copper, which slows the unit down so that we don't overproduce and burn out a unit or a transformer or anything that we're hooked up to.
Outstanding.
Yeah, no, it's a very, very cool product. I mean, when you see them operate and you see them in unison, they sort of dance on a roof. They're attractive. They're lightweight. They're very, very, very useful, and they work. And I think that's the most important thing. There's been a lot of product out there that people have put out in the market. It hasn't produced the kind of power that they were supposedly to produce, and they've been fix or repair daily. Our test markets and our product is well tested, and it just goes on and on. Of course, I could talk about the product all day. We're so excited that with our potential on the ground that we're just looking forward to so many things. And again, we're so happy to be tied in with the other product because it really does complement our products together.
Excellent. Now, John, with the turbines being rather large, would it be safe to assume that they're quite visible?
They are indeed, but let me backstroke, if I may, for a minute. I think one of the main advantages of both our turbines compared to conventional wind farms like you have in West Texas would be we're distributed generation. We produce power where it's used. The big problem with wind farms is they have kV loss, huge kV loss in transmission lines going from the wind farms to the municipality. And once they get to the city, even the city's grid is antiquated because none of the cities practically in the world were built for the populations we have today. And they continue to dig up electric lines and replace them with bigger ones, but by the time they get them buried, they're outdated again. So I think distributed generation is the future. So we'll have wind turbines on the edge of a building, solar on the inside. We can tie into the electric grid together after inverters. We can go into an automated building smart grid system through batteries. We can shave peak demand. We have all kinds of advantages over typical wind farms.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Bill,
so what was your question? I'm
sorry,
I got off the path.
No, I was just thinking since their turbines are somewhat large, they must be very visible. A lot of these old the other wind farms, the ones you see in these, they're huge and they're kind of an eyesore. I was just kind of wondering, in comparison to those, what are the pros and cons of the setup that you guys have?
Well, I think our turbines are actually attractive. They're low RPM. They're high torque. The blades you can advertise on. The turbine itself is 10 foot tall, but you only see about 40% of it from the street because of the parapet wall and the angle you're looking at it from. So they're really unique. I've had people stop in our offices asking what they are. I think they look great.
Yeah, they're definitely attractive on a building, and I think the issue with these turbines that we're talking about, when these go on a building, you know that these buildings are green. And this is what everybody in this country is looking for. They're looking for alternative energy. And I think any building owner or anybody that's in the commercial real estate business has to consider having these type of units on their buildings because it does a lot of things for them. It gives them the opportunity to advertise that they're green. It absolutely reduces their cost of electricity. And again, with the tax incentives and so on and so forth, it's something that everybody must have. And if you take a look now at what the federal government mandates, in Colorado, the federal government says that by 2014 that 5% of the energy used there has to be renewable. I believe, when I look on the desire chart, that there's 28 states in the United States already that are going to require mandatory renewable energy. And when we talk about renewable energy, we also want to mention the fact that these are non-carbon footprint. We're not talking about something that's burning coal or something that's polluting our climate. And we all know about global warming. So these kind of products are absolutely essential to the survival of what we're doing with our air quality and our cost of electricity. Again, electricity right now, people are paying so much per kilowatt, but what they don't realize is just not the kilowatt charge. It's the junction charges, all the additional taxes, and so on and so forth. Our products eliminate a lot of that.
As a homeowner, I can understand, with the rising cost of electricity, that's one of my largest bills that I have to pay.
Well, let me mention this to you. We have some tests and on some particular residential properties that we've done, and we've been successful in reducing the cost on one particular resident almost 65% based upon the usage that he had previous years as compared to the usage that we've had since we've put the unit in. And we have tests like that in several different marketplaces. And those things, if you go online and look at our websites, you'll be able to see a lot of that. And again, the usage for these kind of products go everywhere. They go anywhere from residential to commercial. John and I have been successful in just completing a deal with a large communication tower company that is using our units as a test market, and this happens to be for aviation control and radio broadcast, and they always have issues when they have power failures. Our units are capable to not only operate and provide a lot of electricity, but there's also a battery backup situation that if it does go offline, that these type of towers will still be able to operate. They'll be lighted so that the aviation people will always be able to see the signals. So those are some of the applications that is so exciting about wind energy, and these are one of the areas that we're going down. This particular company has access to almost 1,000 additional towers after we do this test. So John and I are very excited about some of the sales that we've made and some of the applications that we're moving forward with.
That's correct.
Oh,
I'd also like
really
to add
exciting.
that both our products are quiet. They don't kill any birds, and they don't make any noise. So we've got them on top of office buildings, and we've got accountants right underneath them.
Exactly.
Different than the traditional propeller-type turbines that are on a pole and sound like a weed eater. Ours are very quiet, both our turbines.
Yeah.
The Honeywell turbine
is
designed for lower speeds, and our turbine is designed for higher speeds. So, but they really don't overlap too much at all.
Awesome. Now, regarding your business plan, what phase would you best describe to the audience as a snapshot of your current operations?
Well, from the standpoint of our merger, we are actively now selling product. We're not in that stage of development. We have sales on the ground. We have test markets on the ground. We have commitments for orders, which is so very exciting because obviously orders mean revenue. So our game plan this year is to be able to do the test, do the follow-up type of things, and then from there our next move is to go after the big guys. We have already spoken with several Fortune 500 companies, and as I mentioned earlier in our conversation, a lot of these things are going to be mandatory by the federal government. So when we talk to a lot of the Fortune 500 companies, they're already aware of what renewable energy is going to be and what they're going to have. So our game plan is to have John's product for the large, big commercial buildings. For the Honeywell product, we'll be in the little smaller type buildings and do some residential. We think that the groundswell of renewable energy is just unlimited. And again, I'd like to mention that I can't think of anybody that wouldn't want this kind of a product.
This week we
Absolutely.
actually have Honeywell turbines on top of billboard which is kind
of
interesting.
We have if I could just mention, we have, if everybody's familiar with the Texas market and the Boulevard Peninsula, which was wiped out by Hurricane Ike a few years back, we have signed a deal and actually have one of our units on a billboard there with one of the major builders. And he expressed to us that not only was he happy to have the product, but there was such a need in that particular peninsula because when the power goes off, it's not like Galveston. It takes them a lot longer to get back online. So he's developed 50 or 60 homes there with plans to build another couple of hundred with our product, and our product will not only reduce the cost of their electricity, but will act as a backup generator that is actually paying for itself. And that is already an ink deal, and that will appear on our website probably this Saturday or Monday. There'll be actual photographs of the billboard itself, and then we have a commitment from him for 5 additional units right now. And as we write these new contracts, he is designing the residential properties so that these units can be put on each and every one of them.
Oh, wow, that's really exciting.
Yeah, pretty exciting. Very exciting.
Now that you're venturing into the next stage of your business plan, what are your expectations in the short term?
Well, again, our expectations is John and I to develop the market here in Texas, but we've already mentioned that we've reached out from that market. Our expectations right now, we're working with the number one green county in the state of Florida, and we're working, and I can't mention the name because we haven't inked everything yet, but they are so thrilled with our products that we're doing a test on their county buildings and on their facilities in the whole county. That announcement is probably forthcoming in the next week or so. That is, again, I mentioned the number one green county in the state of Florida, maybe even in the United States. I'm not quite sure of that. But these are the kind of inroads that we're working towards. These are the kind of plans that we have.
Excellent. Can you elaborate on EcoWind and what they bring to the table for the company and investors?
Well, what Eco brings to the table is we have a team of professional people. Most of the guys on our team are engineers or architects, and one of our gentlemen, Frank Rea, who's our secretary and heads up most of our sales, has been in the solar business. Last year he sold over 30 megawatts of solar energy, which is just a tremendous amount of watts. When he came aboard with us, he looked at our product and like I mentioned, he says, geez, I can't see who wouldn't want one of these. So what we bring to the table is we bring professionalism. We bring a product that, again, a product of its time. The group on the other end is as professional as we are, and we are so, again, happy to be with them and have someone that they're working in Austin, we're working here in Houston, and our plans, again, are to go across the country with these products.
Outstanding. Do you have any strategic alliances or partners? And if so, could you elaborate on that topic, specifically focusing on what they bring to your company and how it benefits each of you?
Well, the first thing that I can say is, we're sitting with EcoWind Honeywell. So I think the name Honeywell probably speaks for itself. The fact that we are licensed to be able to use that name is not an easy task. So that we have that blessing, that we're able to use it in our advertising, and that we're able to have a Honeywell label on the product is just a tremendous advantage. It opens up so many doors for us that I don't believe that would have been open had we not been able to secure that distributorship. And that's what we bring. John's group brings to us an exciting product, innovative. If you see the product, it's just amazing. I think if you go online and see his website, it's just a product, again, of its time.
Yeah, it's buildingturbines.com, and they could look at it and see how visible it is. Yeah,
and we're EcoWind Solution, and that's Eco EcoWindsol.com, and you'll find us there. As a matter of fact, when people go online and look at us, you'll see that we had a Al Roker Good Morning America deal on there, that we had a 2 or 3 minute segment, and you can actually see the product in front of Al Roker, and it's a funny thing, but you sit there and it's spinning inside of a studio with no fans. So and that's just some of the things that are on the website that we bring to the table.
Awesome. Now, beyond the technology itself, what are the longer-term goals, let's say 1 year and 5 years from now, of your company, and how are you planning on getting there from here, specifically commenting on the catalyst and milestone events you participate or anticipate over the next year?
Well, from a standpoint, I had mentioned earlier that we're working with some of the giants in industry. So the milestones will be announced as we sell these particular units. We're working with some of the large hospitals. Some of these gigantic buildings are burning $1.5 million, $2 million of electricity a month. So one of our milestones is there's a large hospital here again that we're working with that I think we're going to ink here pretty quickly. And that is one of the major things. We know as we put in one of these units or 10 of these units or 100 of these units that when these are up and running that everybody is going to want to have what we have. So, John, maybe you can add to that and your thoughts.
Well, we also have the University of Texas is working on our turbine. They're trying to cost engineer it to bring the cost even further down. Our turbines are relatively inexpensive right now, but the University of Texas is fine-tuning that even more. We're also partnering up with Austin Green Energy Group, and Bernie Johnson's the president of it, and he's on our board as well. We also have another university that can't really set a name right now that is going to do hands-on technical training, so they'll be able to install and maintain our turbines in the future, which is very important for OSHA requirements.
And I think also the fact that a lot of these colleges and universities are now offering education in wind, and some of the things that John mentioned, we have a few orders from a few colleges that they want us to deliver these units just so that they can study them and that they can educate the people that are coming out of college to the usefulness of wind and so on and so forth, which, again, for our target and what we're after, the more educated people are about our type of product, the better off that we're going to be.
Are there federal energy credits like solar? And if so, could you describe to our audience how they could, apply for those credits?
Yes, I can. There are several credits. When we quote a product, right now the federal incentive for these products is a 30% tax credit. So that means that if you spend, and let's just put it in terms of dollars, say you spent $10,000 for a unit installed, you're immediately going to be allowed 30% rebate from the federal government because you have renewable energy. So that is on a $10,000 purchase is $3,000. The federal government is also going to allow you to write off 50% of that cost the very first year, and you can amortize the balance over the next 2 years, so that your first year you're talking about an 80% reduction in the cost of the actual product. Above and beyond that, there are other incentives. In Austin, the energy companies themselves, the suppliers, pay a certain amount per watt back to the customer if they can prove that they're producing that type of power. There is also other incentives, LEED certification incentives, which when a building owner uses our products and we get them LEED certified, that they get a reduction in their franchise tax, they get a reduction in their assessed valuation on their building, and by the same token, when they are commercial, they also get an increase in their property values. We don't list all of that. We simply are basing our product on the 30% tax rebate and the 50% deduction in taxes the very first year. So all in all, if we could qualify each and every client for all the deductions, you'd probably be paying for the unit, and it sounds silly, but it almost ends up being a free unit.
Wow. Oh, my God. That's almost too good to be true.
Well, and I say that, but what we do, any time we have a quote, we send out with our quotes the actual deductions, the forms, and so on and so forth. We just finished another test here in the Houston market with a company called Roberts Development, and we absolutely handled with his accountant all the deductions and all the things that needed to be done so that he would be awarded the cash rebate and get his deductions. So those are the kind of things that we do as a company, so that when we present this or our salespeople present it, we want to make sure that they are aware of what's going on and how simple and how inexpensive this is. And again, the one thing I didn't mention in all these things, that is not including the reduction in your energy bill. So without, if the wind never blew, you're talking about incentives that make it worthwhile to have.
That's incredible. Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to shift gears. Let's take the focus to potential and current shareholders. What is the company's current share structure?
We have currently 500 million shares authorized. 170 million approximately are outstanding, and then it's pretty. The float is pretty thin. It's approximately 19 million shares.
Okay, great. Now, who are you using for your transfer agent, and are they open for investors to inquire about the share structure of your company?
Yes, they are. It's Island Stock Transfer, and our account manager is can I give you the email address?
Absolutely. Why don't you give us the contact email address and phone number?
It's bdavis@islandstocktransfer.com, or their phone number is 727-289-0010.
Okay, that's great. You know, a lot of investors like to see that the TA is ungagged and they're open to fielding phone calls from the investor. Now, what are your potential and actual revenue streams?
Well, I can address that from EcoWind's situation. Based upon what we have on the ground and based upon what our projections would be, I almost hate to say the amount, but I think we're talking about in the next 60 days probably putting on the ground 300 to 400 units. That revenue stream is going to be in the millions.
Oh, excellent. And in respect to your balance sheet, how does that look?
John, that's a question you have to answer.
Okay. Building turbines, I've self-funded it for the first couple of years. In the last year, we've been selling stock to family and friends under Rule 506. We have no long-term liabilities, no loans at retail banks. We have some short-term liabilities that from deferred salaries, some sweat equity guys, and a little bit of liabilities derived from taking building turbines public. But other than that, we have no liabilities whatsoever.
Now, earlier you mentioned your websites, which were buildingturbines.com and ecowindsol.com. Are those the best resources for potential investors to learn more about your company?
Well, yes, I think if they take a look at our websites, that they'll get a wealth of information. On the EcoWind side, there's a test for the new ERX system video that actually shows the unit on top of a chiller, and it shows not only the unit working, but it shows how much power it's generating per hour. I mentioned to you the Today Show video, but there's a wealth of information in terms of how the product works, different applications on towers, on commercial residential buildings, and we think it's very informative. And John and I are striving each and every day on both websites to get as much information and be as transparent with our products as we can.
Okay, great. Now, what do you think makes BLDW a good investment for potential investors? More importantly, if you had a 5-minute elevator pitch that would represent the excitement of the future of your company, what would it be? And please, gentlemen, both take some time to respond.
Well, I can respond pretty immediately. The exciting thing in the elevator pitch would be this is a real product. This is not an R&D type of situation. It's with a national name backing it up. It's, again, anybody that knows anything about renewable energy, they take a look at the product, they're going to want to buy it. And I've had several of our commercial accounts have the actual CEO or owners and say, geez, I want one of those for my house. Now, you know when they say those kind of things that this is the kind of excitement that's built. So the 5-minute elevator speech would be, buy it now while it's still relatively inexpensive to buy. Buy it now while the federal government is paying for the majority of your product, because we don't know how long those incentives will last. So these are that would be my 5-minute elevator speech in a capsule. So, John, maybe you have a comment too.
I do. I think green energy is the future. Building turbines and eco-wind, we're building the complete green energy solution for an urban environment. We'll be able to cover up every rooftop, whether it's wind turbines, solar. We plan on finding a solar manufacturer to JV with. We want a battery company to JV with, automated building system design software and hardware. We want to get into peak shaving demand. It's just infinite, the opportunity we have. And it's government and that mandated, as well as it's a necessity, as fossil fuels are a finite resource and we will run out eventually. And the rebates keep getting better and better, and the tax incentives. We want to be a one-stop control all green electrical output in an urban environment.
Yeah, it's a pretty exciting situation to be in.
It's very exciting, awesome stuff, gentlemen. Well, we've covered a lot of good information on your innovative company. Is there anything else that you'd like to address for our listeners?
I'm satisfied that we tried to put everything out there. We appreciate your time.
Well, Mr. Graham and Mr. O'Rourke, we'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with our audience. And also, we'd like to extend to you an open invitation to join us on Stock Traders Talk radio show in the future. Thanks again.
Thank you very
much.
Much.
If any of your listeners want to email us or contact us via phone, that would be wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Oh, that was incredible. Thank you so much. Awesome stuff. Wow, we just heard from Mr. Graham and Mr. O'Rourke from BLDW, that's Building Turbines, Inc.
All right. Very well done there, Mr. Sumo. Very well done.
Thank you.
A little nervous?
Yeah, of course. You know, I had to break myself in. This is my first one.
There you go. Did very well. For those listening, if you missed any portion of tonight's interview, you will be able to listen to it in its entirety on Investors Hub under videos and then market commentary, approximately 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, you got to love their excitement and their, I guess, forethinking, looking out into the future. The statement that I wrote down was the one-stop all-green electrical solution.
Yeah, I mean, when I knew that I was going to be doing tonight's interview, I was super stoked. I'm just a huge advocate for this space. I love it. Anytime you can reduce the carbon footprint and, help benefit the environment, it's just exciting. This stuff is incredible to me, and not only that, but it helps save the consumer money, and it pays for itself over time. It's like, they said it perfectly. Why wouldn't you be interested in their product?
Now, I'm interested to know, okay, now I know they're rooftop deals, but if you own a large piece of land, can you throw this off to the side of your house and then run wires to the house and get it hooked up that way? Got to find that out.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Because, for me, I own 5 acres of land. I got plenty of room to throw a unit out there. Plenty. I got plenty of wind. live up on the hill.
What I like is that it goes hand in hand with solar. You know, it's not like they're competing with solar. A lot of people that have solar, I mean, you know, that's only good for whenever the sun is out. And in those times that it's not sunny, I would almost guarantee that it's going to be windy.
Yep. That's for sure. And another nice part is 8 moving parts. 8.
Yeah.
That must be nice. Not a lot to tinker with there. Not a lot can go wrong.
You know, we didn't get to touch upon this, but I did, before the interview, I did hear from them that there's a 10-year warranty.
Oh, really?
Yep, and the general life expectancy is 20 to 30 years.
20 to 30 years, huh?
And it's got a 10-year warranty. Yep.
Fantastic. And, you know, let's face it. Our energy bills are not going down anytime soon. No. You know, I mean, I know I live here. I live fairly close to the nuclear plant here, and it runs a diesel train loaded with coal. Yeah, I could speak English. Loaded with coal every single night. And honestly, that train track is probably 8 miles from my house, maybe 10. And that thing shakes my house.
And it's got to be loud, too. It shakes your house and it's loud. And,
yep.
And their turbines are quiet. That's awesome.
No noise. No noise.
Hey,
you know what's great? You can advertise on the blades. How great is that?
Yeah, and they're attractive. You know, it's not like they're these big, huge things that you picture when you think of a wind turbine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're very, you know, easy on the eye. And with the big green push, everybody wanting to go green these days, business owners and, you know, big corporations, they want to be known as a clean company that's doing the right thing for the environment, because it's, you know, people look up to that. And they want to be an example. You know, these companies out there, these big companies, they want to lead by example, and this is a great product to do that.
That and the incentives right now, the tax breaks you get are just off the charts. You know, I mean, I would say that probably at least 60 to 70% of your cost is covered there. I'm not sure how much one unit costs, but I would assume that you're somewhere in that neighborhood.
I like that it has both commercial and residential applications. You know, they have a couple different models. One's a bit bigger than the other.
Right.
He is so funny.
What?
You know, I had my menu on.
Hold
on. Let me mute them.
Oh, looks like
they were still listening. They were still listening.
He forgot to hang up.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, the incentives. Just awesome. For the people that are interested in the share structure, again, 170 million outstanding, 19 million in the float, trading at what? 0.09 ish. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was around 9ish.
9ish. Let's check it out. 0.0928. It closed at today. 0.0928. Fantastic interview. Fantastic job there, Mr. Sumo.
Thank you very much.
Tough shoes to fill. I'll give him that much. They are tough shoes to fill, but you filled them nicely tonight.
Awesome.
Well done. Very good job. Again, if you missed any portion of tonight's interview, it'll be up on Investor Hub approximately 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll get that video out there to you. You can also view it on the homepage at StockTradersTalk.com.
I think Sippy wanted to break down a couple of charts or talk about some of the hot stocks for today.
Yeah, wait. I got a couple of announcements I need to make first.
Okay, sorry.
First, congratulations to last night's winner of a free iHub membership. That was Roger Wilco. Also, on the morning show, Mr. Sivakia surprised me and gave out another one.
No, man.
Hold on, you Siffy, you. Stop listening to the show and being on the show at the same time. Only 3 years of radio, and we still cannot figure out we can't listen and be on the show at the same time. Siffy, are you with us now, or are you still listening to the show? Oh, boy.
He doesn't know if he's coming, going.
He's lost.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
I was so looking forward to hearing from him. Anyway, he gave out another free membership this morning on the morning show, which airs Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That wasn't me. You got the boys on the other line.
No, I don't. It's only when you come on, my friend.
It's because you're probably not wearing your headset, Mr. Siffy. Your feedback from your speakers is interrupting the show, but it's all good.
Go ahead, ruin my show. Go ahead, I dare you. See, as soon as he mutes, that noise goes away. Boy, oh boy. Anyway, this morning he gave away another free membership to, was it Trucker Joe?
Trucker Joe.
Trucker Joe won the free iHub membership. Congratulations to Trucker Joe. Now, let's move on with the show. We only have a few more minutes left. So why don't we take a look at what was the hottest tickers out there today and see how they made out. And then we'll wrap it up for the week here. Don't forget, our show airs Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You have the morning show, like I said earlier, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The morning show stars Stock Sumo, Haas, and Sifikia. They read through the news. They go through the L2s. They're on there with you, taking callers. It's a lot of fun, ain't it, Sumo?
Oh, man, are you kidding me? We have a blast.
I told you that show was going to be a lot of fun. You guys didn't want to listen to me. It's too easy to do that show. Too easy. All right, you ready?
Let's rock it out. Why don't you start with the first stock that you thought was hot?
Well, today we had CYNX was a nice little play today. CYNX up 44% for the day, 80 million in volume. Not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. What do you got over there?
Well, I was watching AWSR.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this one on the morning show earlier in the week. Today it had another big volume day. Traded 1 million shares, and it was up 45%. So nice move there, and it closed just under the high of day. It closed at 34.98. The previous close was 24 cents, and it hit a high of day of 35 cents.
Hey, did I read this right today on one of the posts? Is Google splitting?
I didn't look into that, but that'd be interesting to see. I definitely want to look further into that and investigate because.
Sif, did you hear anything about Google splitting? Sif?
Yes.
Is that actually going to happen?
2 for 1.
A 2-for-1.
A twofer.
Yes.
Whew.
Siffy, are you going to be looking to try to possibly play some options out of this or what?
Would have been good to sell some options today. The thing went pretty much flat after hours, so a lot of premiums coming out of the calls and the puts tomorrow morning. So, who knows? I don't know. Google's Google. I made a 1900 bagger on it, or a 19 bagger not too long ago, but
1900 bagger.
Get excited there, huh? 1900 bagger. 19 bagger. 19. But that was the good old days, and I haven't done it since. So I don't know. Me and Google, we got a weird relationship. I like Apple better. They got
So they're finally gonna do a split.
Yep, they should have done it 4 for 1. Bring that thing down to like $60.
Yeah, well, 2-for-1's still good. I mean, what is going to lower it down to? If it split today, what would it be? 325?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't got the date exactly in front of me when they're splitting, but the street didn't react to it. It was a wild ride after it traded all the way up to 671, I believe, right out the gate, dropped down to the 630s, and I believe closed pretty much par for course at what it was 653 or 664 or something. I don't know. But a lot of money moving after hours in that bad boy.
It's interesting. Very interesting, especially for those that hold shares in Google. Gotta love that. Didn't I tell you guys a couple of weeks back that Google has to split? Didn't I tell you guys that?
Yep.
and you guys said I was crazy. Called it like 3 weeks ago. We were sitting here talking. I said, I need Google to split for me. Be the perfect thing for me. And here I am, days away. Well, it could be months, right? Who knows? How long does something like that normally take this, If?
Not sure. They'll announce it. They might have already announced it. I just didn't see it.
Oh, okay. That should be exciting to watch. Because what would you think would happen immediately? It should pop again, no?
I don't know, man. Google hasn't been getting a lot of love. Their pay per click went quite a bit down. People are wanting discounts on their ads, and I think they got a lot of competition. I don't know. It's hard to say. Google, they need to do that split. They're looking for new investors, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing is it doesn't dilute the stock. So, you know. But the street obviously wasn't that impressed.
So basically, those of us that owned 1,000 shares now own 2,000.
Well, if you hold it through the split.
Yeah, baby. Got to ride the wave.
And then when it goes back up to this price, oh boy, you made a lot of money.
Oh God, could you imagine?
Jeez. Hey, I've seen it before, man. I can't even think of the ticker right now, but I've seen these forward splits of big companies where they drop them back down to $20-$30, and in 5 years it's back to where it split from. I mean, just kill it.
I told you about the best worst trade I ever made, right? I told you about this, my Netflix trade.
Yeah, let's hear it again.
What? Come on, you're gonna embarrass me on the radio?
You brought it up.
Oh God, okay. Sitting here buying Netflix at $15.63. Happy the day I sell it at $23.74. Thinking I did very well on that, only to see it run to $3 kabillion later on. Who would have known? Who would have known? What did top out? 3-something, right?
Something up in those numbers, maybe
300 something.
Yeah. I think it's a beast. Nice trade, Mike.
Yes, wonderful. Wonderful. Hey, can't call
I say
him
Mike
time.
because STT wouldn't make a trade like that.
No. Yeah, okay. I guess that's the way it works. All right. We're going to wrap up the show here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Again, if you missed any portion of tonight's interview, you can catch it again on Investors Hub under Market Commentary. You can also watch it on the homepage of StockTradersTalk.com. From all of us here at Stock Traders Talk Radio to all of you out there in Stock Traders Talk listening land, we're wishing you the best on all your trades, and may your portfolio always be green. This is Stock Traders Talk Radio, and we are out.
Aloha.
Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.